Filtration. By the end of this video, you should be able to set up a filtration, separate a solid from a liquid using filtration, and determine the mass of a solid recovered via filtration. We usually use filtration to separate a solid from a liquid, sort of like this. When you do a precipitation reaction, you'll get a solid that you need to then separate from the liquid it's in. To set up a filtration, you'll need the following equipment: a ring stand, a ring, a funnel, a beaker, some filter paper, tweezers, and a watch glass for when you're done with your filtration. So let's set it up. I'm going to start by attaching the ring stand to the ring. The height here is adjustable, so I'm going to put it pretty close to the bottom. Under the ring, I'm going to put my beaker, and in the ring, I'm going to put my funnel. You want to make sure that the funnel is directly above the beaker, because the beaker is what's going to catch the liquid that goes through the funnel. You also don't want it too high, because then the liquid will splash up as it drips through the funnel. Now you're going to want to put a piece of filter paper into your funnel to catch the solid. You're going to need to know the mass of the filter paper before you put it in, so that when we're done we can subtract the mass of the filter paper from the filter paper and the solid, so we know just the mass of the solid. So we're going to place the filter paper on the balance and record the mass. I'm also going to weigh a watch glass and record its mass. This is what we're going to put the filter paper and the solid on after the filtration. Again, this will allow us to just subtract the mass of the watch glass after the experiment. Now I'm going to fold the filter paper so that it fits into the funnel. Start by folding it in half, then fold it in half again so that you get a cone shape. Now you're going to open it up so that you have 3 thicknesses on one side and 1 thickness on the other. So you actually get a little cone. Pop this into the filter, or the funnel. You'll notice that it starts to pop right up. Take a little bit of water from your squirt bottle and wet the filter paper. This will make it stick to the sides of the funnel. Don't worry about that water, it's going to go through the filter paper anyway into the beaker on the bottom. Now we're ready to pour our solid and our liquid through the funnel. Remember that it's the solid, the blue solid, that we're interested in. So anything that goes through into the beaker, we're going to get rid of in the end. We want to make sure that we carefully pour so that everything goes right into the filter paper. Don't let any go up to the sides of the funnel so that it is able to go between the funnel and the filter paper. That will cause problems. This is a slow process that requires some patience. Don't overfill the filter paper, only pour as much as will fit in at a time. Here you can see the blue solid in the funnel, in the filter paper at the top. You'll also notice that in the beaker at the bottom, the liquid is completely clear. You know it's a good filtration if the water is completely clear, because all of the solid is staying in the filter paper at the top and only the excess liquid is dripping through. Even though this is a really slow process, you need to resist the urge to poke at the filter paper or the solid with a stirring rod or something. This will puncture the filter paper and cause everything to go right through, and you'll need to start over. Once you've poured out everything from your beaker, you might see that there's still a little bit of solid stuck in there. Remember, that's the product you want, so you need to get that into your filter paper somehow. You can use a squirt bottle to rinse it down in. Again, all the liquid is going to go right into the beaker, so you can add as much water as you want without affecting your product. Of course, the more water you add, the longer it will take. But you want to make sure you rinse until all of the solid is out of the beaker. Once all the liquid is run through the filter, before you take the filter paper out, you're going to want to wash your crystals with some water. This will get any excess liquid off of them, just in case the liquid has other ions in it that would then get stuck in the filter paper when it dries. So I'm just going to run some water over the crystals to wash them. Again, let that filter through. Now we want to take the filter paper with the crystals out of the funnel. This part's a little bit tricky. You're going to want to use some tweezers and you're going to very carefully separate the filter paper from the side of the funnel. A couple things to look out for. Don't let the tweezers touch the crystals themselves, because then the crystals will get stuck to the tweezers. And be careful, this is wet paper now, so it rips really easily. Carefully take it out of the funnel and immediately place it on a watch glass. If you do rip the filter paper in this process, as long as you get all the pieces of the filter paper onto the watch glass, it's okay, because you've already weighed it, so you're going to subtract off that mass anyway. You want to make sure your watch glass is labeled with your initials, so you can use a Sharpie to write directly on the watch glass. It might be smart to do this before you put the filter paper on, but it doesn't really matter. Now you're going to put this in the oven to dry. It may have to dry overnight. Remember, the lab oven is an oven, so it'll be hot when you put it in. That's the end of this video. Take a second to review the goals and make sure you can do all these things.